Hey y'all, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 21, Boston Red Sox. It is the draft. Now, if you've never seen one of my OOTP series on YouTube before, I tend to spend a lot of time on the first draft and include a lot of it in the final video. In the drafts that come after that one, I won't show as much. I'll show maybe about 10 rounds or so, I would say, and then just do the rest off camera just to try to move the series along a little bit. But don't worry, any prospects that turn out to be good from that draft class, you will definitely know about them. I have made a couple changes that I said I was going to have to make. I changed up the lineup. Jeter Downs is no longer in the leadoff spot. I guess I could have just stayed on the home screen. So now I have Kirilloff leading off, and I moved Jeter Downs down to 6. There we go. Tried to figure out how to say that. I have Cassius batting 7th for right now, but if he does well, I can definitely move him up in the order. I have Benintendi batting 5th. Vasquez and Galvis are at the bottom of the order. I think everything else is the same. For the rotation, I've kind of moved it around a little bit so that our new acquisition, Armenteros, will hopefully, I don't know if he'll be fully rested by the time his rotation spot comes around, but he couldn't pitch tomorrow. So we moved him to number 2. Deplanier got moved up to number 1. McHugh is now going to pitch tomorrow. And Politi is going to pitch today. And he will make his Major League debut, it looks like, from Long Valley, New Jersey. Always nice to see someone from New Jersey. I sent down Ryan Brazier. He was not doing good, and he was just getting worse. So we called up Raynel Espinal. He was doing pretty well in limited action. Granted, it's a small sample size, but still in 19 innings, he had a 1.42 ERA, a 279 ERA plus. He was striking out guys. He wasn't walking a lot, and the opposing BABIP it's a little low, which is a little concerning, but hopefully we'll get through it. He has 2 good pitches in the curveball and the fastball, so I think he'll be all right. The low movement's a little concerning, but I don't think he can do any worse than Brazier. At least I hope not. But yeah, it is June 4th. It is the first-year player draft. If we take a look at our mailbox, the top 10 prospects are supposedly all out of high school. A lot of 18-year-olds, a couple 17-year-olds. It seems like it's pitching heavy. There's only a few batters. There's this third baseman, second baseman, and shortstop. The rest are pitchers. But let's get into the draft. I think we have the 27th pick, if I remember correctly. And yes, we do. So we have the 27th pick in the draft. The Tigers at the first pick, the top 5, Orioles, Mariners, Phillies, and Royals. And yeah, let's get into it. So we will start the draft, and we want to see all players. And scroll up. So this is what the potentials are looking like. Scouting accuracy is between high and average. I kind of slacked on that a little bit, but I think we will be okay. And that's fine because I normally don't scout a lot of high schoolers anyway. I mainly like to scout the college guys, the JUCO guys. I'm a little hesitant to draft high school guys, at least early on. But anyway, we'll see. We'll auto-draft until the next pick. I'd be interested to see who is available. I don't know if Blake Beers will be available, but he's a guy I might look at. He already has 3 solid pitches. It's really just hoping that the control would come around. Another guy from Michigan. Remember, we drafted someone from Michigan last year. And it seems like he's another guy that probably wouldn't have a lot of movement on his pitches. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who's available. So let's get it going here. Auto draft until the next pick. And here we go. And he is still there. So we have some options here. A lot of guys are asking for a lot of money, which is not too surprising. So we'll just take a look here. I would not be against taking a relief pitcher, although don't really know. Maybe I would like to, I've started looking at the stats that they put up. I think that's a good thing to start to do. Obviously the potential is still important, but I've kind of like to look at the stats and the competition level. I think that's kind of a good thing. All right, so I've been looking for a little bit, and I think I found somebody that I will take here at the 27th pick in the first round, and I think I'm going to go with this southpaw, this Slater O'Brien guy. You can see he is 23 years old. He was born about a year after me, which is cool. He went to St. Joe's in Philadelphia. Competition level was average, but he's a very easy sign, and Against average competition, he put up very, very good numbers. He started 20 games, 133 innings pitched. He had a 1.83 ERA, a 2.03 FIP. He struck out 211 batters in this 2021 college season, and he walked only 38. He was close to a 6-win player, and the BABIP was close to league average, which is pretty good. And I think he can be a pretty solid pitcher for us. I think he can get up quickly. You can see he has the measurables at 6'5", 210. He's 23 years old, as I mentioned, so he should be up pretty early. The velocity is not great. I'm hoping maybe that can improve by a couple miles an hour at some point, but even still, I think that he can be a really solid piece for us. OSA seems to like him too, which is a little more comforting. So I said when we started this series that we really need to get a large amount of young pitchers into the system. I felt that that's where this system really needed a lot of help. And I think we've done that so far, but you can never have too many young pitchers in your system. Teams always need them. Teams are always looking for them. If nothing else, they can be used as trade pieces if you don't have room for them on your roster. The only thing that concerns me with O'Brien is his movement. It's graded out at a potential 40, but that can always improve. He already has 3 solid pitches, especially if that slider develops, which I think that it can. And it seems like his stuff will definitely play in the major leagues too. If he can get to 55 grade stuff, that would be a little above average. So that would be pretty good. He has pretty solid control, and the only question mark I see with him is his movement, but I think he'll still be able to play and be a reliable starter in the majors if all goes according to plan. So we're going to go with Slater O'Brien, 23 years old. We're going to draft him, and you can see that we're going to be under slot with that pick. So we'll go into the next pick by Boston. And I'm not against taking some more pitchers. There were other guys that I was looking at. Let me try to find the guy that I was looking at. Okay, here he is. Mason Green, another left-handed starting pitcher, 6'1", 185. He's 22 years old. Another February birthday, which is pretty cool. It seems like he could be another back-of-the-rotation starter, which is always helpful. Now, his competition level at the college he went to, Central Missouri, that was only fair, but still against that fair competition, he did pretty well. A 2.81 ERA, a 2.92 FIP, 138 strikeouts to 37 walks, so a strikeout-to-walk percentage of 19.5%. Which isn't awful. I mean, he was close to striking out close to 10 guys per 9 innings, and the walks were below 3. He held his opponents to an OPS of .577. And I think that, as I just said with the other guy that we drafted, it's not a bad thing to just get a lot of young pitchers in your system. Another guy that at 22 years old, I think will probably be up pretty quickly, relatively quickly, I should say. The stuff is kind of in that Devin Smeltzer realm, but it seems like his pitches could have pretty solid movement, and it seems like he'll be able to at least get the ball over the plate. If these pitches can develop, that would obviously be ideal. I mean, if nothing else, it seems like he could be a relief pitcher if that changeup doesn't really develop, maybe like a middle reliever. But if they do, it seems like, as I said, he could be a pretty good guy to just throw in the back of the rotation and eat some innings. So we're going to take a shot on Mason Green. Said my scout seems to like him. OSA seems to like him. So we will take a chance. All right, with our third pick, we're going to take a shot on this Mark Vierling guy. He played at the University of Missouri, so he played in the SEC. Great competition level. He posted an .824 OPS this season in 50 games. He started all 50 games. I'm more interested in his defensive versatility. It seems like he has experience at a lot of different positions, and it seems like he can be serviceable at almost all of them based on what his current fielding ratings grade at it, and I think that they could probably improve. You can see he's intelligent and well-spoken. He has a high adaptability rating. He could run the bases. He has some speed. And I think if his batting ratings, or his batting grades, I should say, advance just a little bit over the course of his stay in the minor leagues, I think this guy could be a solid utility player for us, and those are always valuable. Another February birthday, so 3 in a row to start out. Because he's not asking for a lot of money, and I think that this is the guy that we are going to take, Mark Vierling. I think our fourth round pick is going, or our fifth round pick, I should say, is going to be this guy right here, this Brett Carey, another pitcher, another older pitcher, college pitcher, 22 years old. This one is a righty. You see he's a little small, 5'11", 205. He went to South Carolina, and he did pretty well there, a 2.92 ERA, a 3.34 FIP. He was a 2-win player. He didn't strike out a lot of guys, but he didn't walk a lot of guys either. And the velocity is, it's not too bad, 91 to 93. He's a fly ball pitcher base. He has high loyalty, work ethic, and intelligence grades, which is really good to see. And another guy that the movement doesn't seem like it'll be super great. It can always improve. Once again, I'm going to stress that again. It can always improve. But another guy that seems like he could be similar to Devin Smeltzer in terms of his stuff. The control seems like it'll be good, and it seems like he could have 3 serviceable pitches. Another back of the rotation arm. Maybe he could be a little more if he develops a little better, and with that high loyalty, work ethic, and intelligence, I think that's a possibility. So we're going to take a chance, and we're going to draft Brett Carey out of South Carolina. Now, the next guy I was looking at was this Jason Gonzalez player. He's listed as a third baseman, 22 years old. He went to Vanderbilt, so another SEC player. He's a junior, and he's obviously playing against pretty good competition. He put up an 891 OPS. He got on base at close to a 360 clip, 532 slugging percentage. It seems like he's kind of similar to the corner infield prospects that we have now, in that it doesn't seem like he'll ever post a very high batting average in the big leagues if he ever does get there, but he does have some power, and as I've said before, power definitely does hold value in this game, as it does in real life. It doesn't seem like he'll ever be super great defensively, but you never know. We'll see, but we're going to take a chance on him in the 6th round. I think that just Jason Gonzalez would be a solid pick. I think we're about to take our first high schooler of the draft, and that'll be Brandon Anstey. You can see he is 19 years old. He just turned 19 20 days ago. And he is from Canada. He went to Notre Dame in Burlington, Ontario. He's committed to play college at the Queen's College in Kingston. You can see he's an extremely hard sign. He's asking for $6 million, but because we've went under slot with our first several picks, I think that we can afford the money to give to a guy like this. A guy that doesn't seem like he's ever going to have any power, but he put up a really impressive stat line. Granted, it was against poor competition, but you still have to be able to perform against the competition that's in front of you, and he did just that. A 1.299 OPS, a 772 slugging percentage. He didn't strike out or walk a lot. He was a 3-1 player, though. He has a high adaptability and work ethic grade, which is really good to see. He has a lot of speed. He can steal. He can run the bases. It seems like he could be a pretty good outfielder. Wherever I choose to put him, the arm is obviously not very strong, but I still think that he can be a pretty solid piece for us. And you can take a look. As I said, he's not going to have a lot of power, but the high contact, the high gap power, the fact that he'll probably be able to avoid strikeouts. Now, he's 19, so it's going to take him a little longer to get through the system, but I think that his eye has a chance to improve a little bit more than that 35 grade. OSA doesn't seem to like him as much. You can see our head scout has him at a 2.5 star potential. OSA has him at a 2, although OSA thinks that his power and his eye are going to be a little better. But it seems like this guy could, in a few years, maybe not a few years, longer than that, but it seems like he could maybe slot into I could see him as a starting outfielder for sure. A guy that doesn't really have a lot of power, but gets on base a lot and has speed and can play pretty well defensively. I could definitely see him slotting in at some point. So we're going to take him and going to the next pick. You see, we are in the 8th round now, so I'm going to do a couple more rounds, and then we will do the rest of this off camera, and we will move on. All right, I think our 8th round pick is going to be yet another high schooler. This time it'll be a high school pitcher, and it is Tony White. He will most likely never become a starting pitcher. You can see the stamina's a little low, but even if it wasn't that low, he only has 2 pitches that seem to grade out pretty well. It seems like the changeup's never going to do much. But a guy with 2+ pitches, a 60 grade fastball, and a 75 grade knuckle curve definitely has a spot in a major league bullpen if everything else develops as it should. And the value of relief pitchers, it's always going to be there. Once again, teams are always looking not only for starting pitchers, but pretty solid relief pitchers. And I think that if he develops well enough, you got to understand he is only 17, but if he does develop well enough, I think that this guy could be a solid relief pitcher. And after how we've seen our bullpen perform this year, I think that we know that can definitely always use solid, reliable relievers. And so we're going to take a chance on Tony White. High intelligence, doesn't just listen, takes note. Another guy with pretty low velocity, but still, I'll take a chance on that. Our scout seems to think that he is 1.5 stars. OSA seems to think he's a little better, but they're both pretty similar for the most part. So we're going to take a chance on Tony White in the 8th round, going to the 9th round, and let's see if we can find someone to take a chance on. So in the 9th round, I think I'm going to target this guy, this Zach Ramesh guy, an 18-year-old. He went to San Marino High School in California. He's committed to play at Wichita State. His bonus demand's pretty high too, but we have the money and I can afford to do something like this. Another guy, even more so than Tony White, that I think can become a really reliable relief pitcher for us. You can see this is what our head scout thinks. OSA likes him pretty much the same. The changeup's never going to develop, so he'll never be able to be a starter. There we go. But the 70 grade curveball and the 60 grade fastball are really enticing, as is the fact that his stuff movement and control grades all seem to grade out about an average, maybe a little above average, which is good to see. 18 years old, he just turned 18 8 days ago. He put up a 1.27 ERA, and he struck out 34.3% of the batters he faced, 126 strikeouts to just 13 walks. He started all those games. He's not going to be a starter. If he does make it to the big leagues, he's not going to be a starter regardless. But I think that that's a nice guy to take a chance on. He could also, if he had some power to him, which he doesn't, he seemed like he could have been a pretty solid third baseman. Because his arm, a 70-grade arm in the infield, is pretty interesting. But unfortunately, he doesn't. So we're just going to keep him as a pitcher, and we will draft him, and we should be able to meet his bonus demand. I'd be shocked if we couldn't. And now at the 10th round, I'll take a look here at default. I just want to see what the star level is kind of like here for the remaining players. And there's a couple, or a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 two-star guys left. Most of them are starting pitchers, which is not too surprising. Then you just kind of get into the 1.5 and the 1-star guys. I was looking at this Stuart Fleslin guy. He's a JUCO freshman from Santa Ana. Fair competition level. He was all right. He didn't do great, but he was all right. Low work ethic, though, so it's not a guy that I would like to bring into my minor league system. I've been looking at that more in this draft than I did in the first draft. Danny Zimmerman, possibly. It seems like he could maybe be a back-of-the-rotation guy. Poor competition level, and when you take that into account, he wasn't super great, but as a JUCO freshman, only 20 years old, a southpaw, 6 feet, 185. Fly ball pitcher, hesitant to commit. Not too sure. Sean Coltis, maybe? Another guy that doesn't really have a lot of power, but he did well in high school. Drafted a lot of high schoolers recently. I would kind of like to try to get at least some type of college arm. John Beller, he pitched at USC. Rarely makes waves in the clubhouse. Another lower tier velocity guy, but good competition level out there in the Pac-12, a 3.32 ERA. He struck out 101 batters. He walked 32. If nothing else, it could be minor league depth, but I could see a scenario where he becomes our number 5 starter at some point. So we'll take a chance on John Beller. Hard signability, but we should be able to get him, and that's that. So there's 10 rounds of the draft done. I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and when we come back, we will continue simulating the season. All right, and we are back. It is Thursday, June 17th, 2021. I got all the draftees signed that I needed to get signed. I have all the lineups, all the pitching staffs, all the strategies set for the Rookie League, for Low A, for the Dominican Summer League. So we are finally ready to just keep on going here. I simulated up ahead here to the 17th. A couple pieces of news. Rafael Devers did sign his extension, which I'm happy about. You can see, let me think, $206 million over 10 years to stay in Boston. Okay. So he was clearly very ecstatic to stay in Boston. So if we take a look here, we go to front office and we go to salaries. We now have that Devers extension on our books, but I feel like for a pretty close to superstar third baseman, this is a pretty nice contract, and it allows us to do some other things to build around him in the years to come. But Devers is now locked into Boston for at least the next 7 years because he does have that opt-out and hopefully longer. But I'm excited that we have him. Chris Sale is now off the IL. He is on his rehab assignment in Pawtucket. We called up Josh Taylor and sent down Mike Shawarren. So Taylor is now our long relief man. Unfortunately, you can see John Deplanier got injured with an arthritic elbow, which is unfortunate. He is one of our better pitchers, and he was really doing well since we acquired him from Arizona. But he'll be out for probably the rest of the season. I suppose it's June, July, August. I mean, maybe he could. I'd say maybe he could make it back some point in the postseason, but I doubt it. He won't be ready anyway. So Deplanier is basically out for the rest of the season, which is unfortunate. But the one positive is it's only 4 months, so he will be ready to go for next season. So we had to call up Lewis Thorpe to take his spot. The guy that we acquired from the Astros, he has made 2 starts. He's pitched 12 innings, so he's pitched 6 innings in both. The first start he made against the Royals, he allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He allowed 2 home runs, no walks, 7 Ks. This last start he made against Baltimore, he allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs again. So he's letting up a lot of home runs. He walked 1, only struck out 3. So it was a little bit of an improvement. I feel as though if he can just cut down on the home runs just a little bit, he will be okay. But I think if we're going to trade for anything at the deadline or close to the deadline, it'll be a starting pitcher, because I was pretty happy with how the starting pitching staff looked, and now you take a look at it, it's almost completely different. Politi is now in the rotation. McHugh, he's done all right. Smeltzer has continued to get a little worse, which is unfortunate, but I think he can turn it around. Armenteros, we just talked about him. Lewis Thorpe, we just called back up. You can take a look here. He has made one start since he was back up. He made one start in AAA, and now he is back in the major leagues. He was at Baltimore. He went 6 1/3, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, another 2 home runs, a walk and 6 strikeouts. Not terrible. It's better than what he was doing, but I'd like to see a little bit better performance. And I think that is it. We're playing a little better. I guess we're 35 and 39. We're still 6.5 out in the division. The Orioles are really doing well, and the Blue Jays are leading the division. This is a weird 2021. The Rays are in last place. We're 4.5 out in the wild card race, but so we're a little ways out, but we're still in it. Heath Hembry is only going to be out for one more week, and then we can send him on a rehab assignment. Take a look here at the schedule. You can see we have been doing a little better. We took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. We swept the Royals. We lost 2 of 3 to the Orioles. So, as I said, the Orioles are having a pretty solid season. We split with the Cardinals, and I don't know if that's our last time we're going to be at a National League team. No, it's not. So we have 2 games at the Mets. We have 3 games at the Pirates in July. And then that might be it for the times we have to play at a National League team. Yeah, okay. So we're going to simulate up ahead here. I guess we can get to probably around the All-Star break, I think would be a good idea. We can kind of take stock, see how this team is doing, and hopefully we're still in the playoff race. I really would not like to sell. In fact, I don't really know what I would sell off anyway if this team just completely falls apart. But if we are still in the race, I think a starting pitcher would probably be the one thing that we need. If we take a look at the trade block, where's it? Trading block. Now let's take a look here. All pitchers, and we'd like to sort by overall. So not really a ton of great options on the trade block in terms of starting pitchers. There's a lot of relievers if we want to attack one of those, but the best starter right now is Danny Duffy, who granted would probably be an improvement over some of the guys we have in the rotation right now. But after that, it's Kendall Graveman, Kim, Carlos Rodon. They're trying to trade him again. I guess they weren't able to last year. Andrew Triggs is on the block, and he seems like he's been having an okay year. But in any case, we will simulate up until the All-Star break. So we'll take a look. It is June 17th, and the All-Star break starts on the 12th. So a little less than a month. We'll see how the team's doing. All right, we have reached the All-Star break. It is July 12th. The Red Sox are 44 and 51. I think when we started this episode, we were 7 games below 500, and we are still 7 games below 500. We're still 6 games out in the AL East. The Yankees have now not overtaken, but they are tied for first place with the Blue Jays. The Orioles have kind of fallen off a bit, and then that's the rest. We are 6.5 out in the wild card race. If we're going to make a run this year, I think that we will definitely need to get some pitching. Pitching is still an issue with this team. Chris Sale's come back. You can see he's made 2 starts in his return so far. In the first one at the Yankees, he went 6 1/3. So he's been pretty good. He struck out 8 batters his first game back, 10 his second game back. He's won at least 6 innings both times. He hasn't allowed a lot of hits. So Chris Sale's been good since he came back. I'm not too concerned about the ERA. That was just rough start to the season. Armenteros has actually been doing pretty well. It seems like he let up 4 runs there, but he has been doing pretty well so far since we acquired him from Houston, which is good because we definitely needed some type of guy to stabilize this rotation. Smeltzer has just been getting blown up a lot recently. He's not been doing as well as he did a season ago. You can see now an ERA over 5. The FIP is over 5.2. He has a below average ERA plus, 80 strikeouts to 18 walks. So that's probably an area where we'd like to maybe improve upon. Politi has actually done a lot better than I thought he would. He has been another guy that's been consistent since we called him up. You can see he got shelled here in this game against the Yankees, but he's been pretty solid since then. And he's been another guy that's kind of stabilized the rotation. McHugh he's been very up and down. You can see like 1 2/3. He let 5 earned runs against the Yankees. He had a good start. Then he let up 6 against the Yankees, 7 against the Rays, but he just bounced back 8 in the third where he only allowed 1 earned run. He struck out 6. So McHugh's been up and down. I think if we're going to do anything, I think trading for one starting pitcher would probably be good. The bullpen has kind of turned it around a little bit. You can see we're still 11th in bullpen ERA. Espinal has not done super great. He was at an ERA around 4 for a little bit. We see that's kind of shot up recently. A 6.26 ERA in 23 innings pitched. So I might actually get a different guy up here. I might get Bizzardo up here. Low loyalty, low adaptability, no work ethic, but at this point I think we need someone to be a little better. So I think we're going to send down, where are you? I think we're going to send back down Espinal and take a shot on Bizzardo. And there we go. Take a look at how Brazier's doing, and he's only pitched 11 innings, but he hasn't allowed a run yet. It seems like he's injured, which is okay. Seems like some of these guys are injured that I have to put on the IL, and I will do that off camera. But let's just do this before I forget. So Bizzardo can slide in a middle relief. So we'll take a look here. Hendricks has been a little better, I suppose. Yates has gotten a little better. He has a minor day-to-day injury. Hader's kind of started to perform like I thought he would when I acquired him. Seeing 61 innings, struck out, I think, 102 batters at 3.84 ERA. Brewer's doing solid. Chafin's doing a lot better than he was earlier in the year, and we just brought Hembry back. There we go. We'll take a look at the lineup. The offense is really not an issue. Devers has an OPS of exactly 1,000. He is leading the team with 26 home runs and 71 RBI, and OPS plus of 152. He's been a 4-win player. Tristan Cassius, since we called him up, has been doing very well. As I said, he's probably never going to have a super high batting average, but the 884 OPS and 121 plate appearances is promising. Benintendi at an 861 OPS is good to see. Ozuna has bounced back. Now his OPS is back up over 800. Freddie Galvis, on the back of this 395 BABIP, has kept his OPS above 800, which I would not have expected. Kirillov's kind of in a cold streak, but he's been so consistent for us. I'm not super concerned. Verdugo is still hovering around this OPS around 770. He hasn't gotten it above 800 recently. The on-base percentage is really, really concerning. In fact, I might have to move him out of the cleanup spot and move him somewhere else in the order. Maybe that would kind of kickstart him a little bit. Vasquez, as I said, he's in there for defense. Jeter Downs is in there for defense too. He's been a 1.4 win player. Looking at how he's done in the field, at plus 3.0 zone rating and that high efficiency. So he's been good defensively. It's just I need that offense to come around if he's going to be a focal part of this team for years to come. And that is basically that. Oh, we did sign an international amateur free agent. That's what I wanted to talk about. Danny Licea, 16 years old, very small, 5'9", 155 pounds. He's 16 years old, so hopefully he'll grow a little bit. But a guy like this, so you take a look at these grades. If they're around 20, a lot of times they don't really grow anymore. They don't really reach that. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he did not get an 80 grade changeup when he's finished developing, but I want to take a chance. He has high adaptability, high work ethic. He's not forcing it, advocates a regimen of gradual accumulations. His velocity at 16 years old is 91 to 93. That should pick up as he gets a little older. And I don't know, he just seemed like a good guy to bring in. 45 stamina, that might improve as the years go on and he gets a little older, a little more experienced, but he'll be in our international complex for the next few years while he grows and develops, and hopefully in about 6, 7, 8 years, maybe he'll be up in the major leagues, which would be great. But I figured now would also be a good time to look at the All-Star Game rosters. So here they are, and this is the prospect game. Whoops, okay. So we'll see if anybody made it from our team. So Zach Ramesh made it, which is good to see. This is actually the guy that we just drafted, correct? Yeah, 2021 round 9 pick. He made the Futures game already. It seems like he's doing pretty well. Luis Perales had made it too, which is good. I jumped him up to low A after he did pretty well at Rookie League last year. Not too sure how he made it. It doesn't seem like he's doing super well, but in any case, we also had Jose M. Rodriguez make it. Anybody else? That was about it. And this is the National League guys. If you want to take a pause and take a look at it. But the actual All-Star Game rosters for MLB, who did we get anybody? So we got Colton Brewer who made it as a relief pitcher, which is good to see. Rafael Devers, no surprise. He is, I'd imagine an MVP candidate. And looking at the WAR for all these batters, it looks like he's at the top, which is nice. Yeah, it looks like those are our only two guys. Yep, and here is the National League roster if you want to pause and take a look. At the top is Miguel Diaz and Clayton Kershaw, and then here are the rest of the people that made it. Xander Bogaerts made it. He's doing pretty well, it would seem like. An OPS over 800, a 360 on base percentage, 506 slugging, 12 home runs, a 128 WRC plus, a 2.4 win player. So, I mean, you take a look at how Jeter Downs is doing. Jeter Downs as a 1.4 WAR. Bogaerts was at 2.4. So it would have been nice to keep Bogaerts for sure, but I'm still content with the trade that I made. I think getting in Hader was a good idea, and I still will stand by that. But I think that's about it. We'll take a look at the trading block. We'll see if maybe any other intriguing names got added, because I think it's clear that we do need some type of a pitcher. We don't want batters. We need, we'll just go all pitchers. So Craig Kimbrell is on there. So now Justin Verlander's been added to the block, which is interesting. He's only signed through this year. I don't know why the Astros would want to trade him. I suppose he's not doing very well this year. Wow. So maybe Verlander's not the guy that we want to bring in. Mike Clevinger is on the block. Now, that's very interesting. I love Clevinger in real life. He is someone I would definitely love to bring in. Is Cleveland bad this year? Cleveland is in third place. They're 49 and 46. I feel like they got to be in the wild card race. Yeah, they're only 1.5 games out, so I'm not too sure why they want to trade him. Is he in his final year of arbitration? 4 years, 150. I mean, maybe that's why. If they don't think that they're going to be able to come to a long-term extension with him, maybe that's why they'd want to trade him. I'd be interested to know what they would want in return, because Clevinger is Scherzer's there, but his contract's signed through 2021. How is he doing this year? He's not too bad. The grades kind of scare me a little bit. I really would like to get Clevinger. Just goes about his business. I want to know what they would like in a package for Clevinger. Okay. It's not crazy. I wonder if they would take. Maybe I would not be against trading Lewis Thorpe. He still has some type of value. I would not be against trading him for a guy like Clevinger. Just has not done as well as I thought he would this year. I'm not sure what quite it is, but I had to send him down again. So if I could start a package around Lewis Thorpe, would that change anything? A little bit. Maybe a package centered around Lewis Thorpe, and I don't know if they would want Ryder Jones. I think that he deserves a spot in the majors, and I can't really give him that opportunity, so would they do that? I know he's kind of old. No. Ryder Jones. Not too sure who else I would want to trade. I don't want to trade a bunch of prospects. Maybe Josh Ockamy would be a good one. That doesn't really change anything either. I'm not going to trade any of these guys, naturally. It's the only guy I would even start to consider is Jeter Downs, and I'm not going to trade him in this package for a 30-year-old Mike Clevinger who's going to turn 31 pretty soon in December. I'm trying to see if there's any other prospects maybe I could get away. Maybe I should go to prospects. Any other prospects that I could get away with trading. I don't want to trade Grimesh. I can't even trade Grimesh by the rules. Ian Bedell is an interesting case, so we can throw them a young pitcher to maybe replace him. But I like Bedell. I really don't want to trade him away right now. His FIP is a little high this year, 18 strikeouts to 4 walks. I don't think it's smart. I said I wanted to bring in a lot of young pitching, and I don't really want to just trade all that away right now. Gutierrez is a guy maybe I would toss them. This is the guy that we got in that trade with the Reds. Would not be against doing that. Would this do anything? You will need to add a very good player. That doesn't really do much. I'm not going to trade Verdugo. It's just I don't think that really helps out the team. Despite Verdugo having kind of an off year compared to last year, I don't think that really does anything. So maybe closer to the deadline, this is something that we take a look at again, because we do clearly need some type of a starting pitcher, either to take Smeltzer's spot or McHugh if they don't get any better. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. But thank you for watching this episode. I will see you guys in the next episode when we will maybe make a trade, but if not, we will finish out the 2021 regular season. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.